Hi guys, welcome to Rhythm Radio, where we come together every week to talk about and explore ways to create new healthy rhythms in our bodies, in our businesses, in our lives, in our days. And we're live in the Facebook group, but for some reason we cannot be both live in Facebook and Instagram today, so not sure what's up with that. But we're just going to go with the flow. So today I wanted to talk about probably one of the most powerful strategies that I have found to achieve goals. And it's actually much more than that. It's not just to achieve goals, it's just to keep my sanity, to live the life I want, to design my life in a way where I feel good. So it really goes much broader than achieving goals, but I couldn't get that all in the title. So really the life that we end up with is simply an accumulation of the choices we make. We all know that, right? And the choices are at the root of our results. So sometimes that's very intentional, and sometimes each choice just starts a behavior that becomes a habit, whether it's a positive habit or not a positive habit. In essence, basically our choices, we make our choices and then our choices make us. So that could be something like whether we decide to go to college or not, whether we decide to stop smoking or not, whether we decide to move to a different city or not, whether we choose to leave a job. So all of these choices, we make the choices and then the choices make us. And that's not necessarily always a bad thing. So sometimes when I look back on my life and I think about how upset as a kid I was anytime we had to move, we had really two big moves that came at pivotal times. We moved a couple other times earlier, but two moves at pivotal times in my life, starting middle school and starting high school. They were choices. I did not make those choices, obviously, but they definitely made me, right? So my life went in a completely different trajectory based on those choices that were made. And so the thought I want to have you play around with today is something that I have had in my head for many years. I don't know where I originally heard it, but when I was going to share it today, I did look up to see if I could attribute it as a quote to someone. And a lot of places it says anonymous. There are some people that cite, I believe, an author, Sean Patrick Flannery, but I don't know. I don't know who originally said it. Doesn't really matter. And that is, do something that your future self will thank you for. So every choice has an impact on the compound effect of our life. Sometimes it's an immediate or a short-term impact, and sometimes it's a long-term impact. And a lot of times we are basically sleepwalking through our choices. Maybe they are because of our upbringing or our culture, or they're so entwined in our routines that we don't even realize. But these all compound to have an ongoing effect. So for example, and it's not necessarily by intention, I don't think that anyone intends to be in massive debt or go bankrupt. I don't think people intend to have a marriage fail. I don't think people intend to be obese, but it is the result of often a lot of poor choices. Right? Not always. There's some other factors for sure, but we do have some. We still have some like accountability or responsibility in our choices. So when I say do something that your future self thanks you for, there are 5 areas that I wanted to share today that could. That you can consider that I think are ways that my future self will thank me. And it might be my future self like tonight, it might be my future self next week, or it could be my future self down the road. And the first one is something that I talk about a lot, and that is setting yourself up for positive habits or healthy habits. So what I mean by that, and some examples, we've all heard, like, pack your gym bag the night before, and that'll help you set yourself up for success, and your self the next morning may thank you for doing that. So something like that. For example, I have been doing this workout challenge, and it's really hard, and frankly, I did not want to do it today. And I had a feeling last night when I went to bed that I might feel that way. So I actually queued it up on YouTube, queued up the workout on YouTube. I put my mat, I did it today in my office right here. I put my mat out. I put my bottle of water there and my essential oil that I was using today, which was Peppermint Touch, just to give me a little boost. And I set that up because it would have been so easy to just skip the workout this morning, but because I had to literally walk over the mat this morning, I was like, it's right there, I'll do it. Another example is as far as setting up yourself for positive habits that has worked for me, or specific examples of late. Sunday night, I like to try to do cooking on the weekend, and then that's something that my future self thanks me for. So my Wednesday night self is thanking Sunday Kristen for making extra chicken when I cooked dinner on Sunday night. Wednesday Kristen is so happy about that. I am very consistent with my supplements because Sunday night Kristen also puts the supplements, refills the supplement holder so that there's supplements set out for the week. So Wednesday morning Kristen today, I was pretty thankful for that Sunday Kristen who set those supplements out. Here's an example that does not go well for me often, and I am going to try to shift this, but I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm driving home and that gas light is just about to go on, or maybe it's on, and I think I can still coast home on these fumes. I don't want to get gas. And then the next morning I'm trying to go somewhere and I'm like, oh, shoot, I need gas. And now I'm late because I need to stop for gas. So that would be a great example of doing something that my future self would thank me for, is actually filling up the tank before it was in dire need of being filled up. Anybody else, if you have something like that, put it down in the comments below. So setting yourself up for positive habits, it could be so many different things that you do that fall into that category. The second area that you can do something that your future self will thank you for is asking and or investing in help. So this comes up in so many different areas. For example, I launched a new website recently. Love to get your feedback, KristenRaza.com. You can just check out the spelling of my name. And I have been working on it with someone, and it's taken a little longer because, y'all who have done a website before, it takes longer than you think. And I happened to see a YouTube video recently of someone who is a leader in one of the in one of my businesses that I'm involved in, and she talked about doing your own, like how you should just do things yourself, kind of like a DIY, do it yourself. And I have to say, I completely disagreed with that. I really felt like unless you're, a great website designer and you want to design your own website for your business, I really believe that your future self will thank you if you invest in or ask for help. So I know for me, that's not my forte. So investing in someone to help me with that is key to making it good. So especially on things that you really don't like doing or you don't have the skill set to do, and unless again you're just doing it because you think learning how to do a website would be fun, that's great, then maybe your future self will thank you for that because that's a new skill that you have. But I don't ever have an intention of becoming a website designer or offering that as a service or anything. And I can think of far more things I'd love to do and learn to expand and exercise my creativity than that. So ask or invest in help. I'd love to hear if you have a way that you've invested or asked for help that your future self then will thank you, or that you have had that experience in the past. The third thing is another along the similar lines is invest in yourself. So I have never been disappointed. My future self has never been upset about making choices to invest in myself. So, for example, right now I am investing a lot in doing some energy work. I actually invest in energy work on a regular basis, but I'm kind of doing more right now. And that is a way that I know a week, a month, even years from now, that the investment I'm making right now in this energy work that I'm doing is paying off immediately, but it also has long-term benefits, especially depending on what kind of, something like investing in therapy, that can have really long-term ripple benefits. And your future self, if you use a therapist and you work through some things that seem to be real big obstacles or hurdles for you in your life, yourself a year from now is going to be so glad you invested in them. So there are many, many ways that you can invest in yourself. One of the things I really often hear people say is like, oh, it's too expensive. Then to me, they're saying they're not worth it. They're not worthy of it. They're not worth it because things that I feel me initially when I look at might be out of my price range. I look at that and I say, okay, how can I afford that? Or what do I need to do to afford that? Because if it's something that truly my future self is going to thank me for, I will find a way to invest in it. Number 4, something your future self will thank you for is forgiving. So if you are in need of forgiving someone or forgiving yourself, even a bigger one right there, then that is something, that is a practice, an experience that your future self will thank you for, because carrying the weight of not forgiving someone, especially yourself, is heavy. And it's time to put that down. And your future self will be glad that you did, because it's just going to be lighter and freer. And that doesn't mean you have to condone what the person may have done or said, or a mistake that you feel you made. That doesn't mean you're accepting it, embracing it. It just means that you are forgiving and releasing, because forgiveness has a very, very low vibration, and it's very hard to create the life that you would like to design, or to achieve your goals, or whatever it might be in the future, if you are carrying some unresolved areas that could use some forgiveness right now. And the 5th way that you can do something that your future self will thank you for is create boundaries. Now, that could be something as simple as your boundaries for your time, which I talk about a lot, or your energy, like a lot of scrolling on social media or something like that. Or it could be creating boundaries with people. That's something also I've been really working on it in the last year. And that can make a huge difference. And I can tell you that Kristen of, April 21st, 2021 is thrilled that Kristen of January 2021 made some choices, and some hard choices sometimes with respect to boundaries. And so Kristen, April 2021, who knows what I'm going to do next that is going to make Kristen of, let's say, September 2021 or September 2025, who knows? Because again, these are long-term ripple choices that just keep it's kind of like the gift that keeps on giving when you do something that your future self, whether it's yourself tonight or yourself a year or 10 years from now, will thank you for. Even just, hours from now, it could be something simple. Like, I have really struggled trying to get into the groove of a really great evening routine. I have a very committed, very nourishing and fulfilling morning routine, but I just really can't get it going on all the time for the evening, once in a while. So sometimes what I've been doing lately is stacking on my bed, like my bed is through the next room, the things that I want to be part of that evening routine. So it might be a book that I want to read. It could be an essential oil that I want to use that night. It could be, I love my Copaiba soft gels before I go to bed. Oh, that is for such great sleep and for the inflammation that goes on in my body. And I just pile it all up on my bed in a little pile. Like, these are the tools, so that when I do go to roll in bed and roll into bed and I feel like I'm just going to go right to sleep, stuff's right there. I'd have to move it to go to sleep. So it prompts me to use that oil, take that soft gel, read that book. And so that helps me. So myself of tonight would be very appreciative of that move. And so finally, so just as a recap, ways that you can do something your future self will thank you for. Set yourself up for positive habits. Ask or invest for help. Invest in yourself. Forgive, even with yourself, and set boundaries with yourself and with others and with your time and your energy, because you can't get back time. So if you're agreeing to things that kind of our time sucks for you, you can't get that time back. And so why is it important to do something your future self will thank you for? Well, it really creates self-trust and respect for yourself. It is so easy to give yourself a pass, and sometimes we need a pass. Don't get me wrong. Last night I went to bed really early, and I left a lot of things undone that I could have done. I just didn't have it in me. I went to bed really early, and that's what I needed. But when we stay true to our commitments, the more that you keep a commitment to yourself, the more that flows through all areas of your life. So it creates self-trust and it creates self-respect for you. And when we do that, the ripple effect is tremendous. We start to really live with a growth mindset. And then each day it helps us to be our best selves. And that's what we're really aiming for as we create these rhythms in our life. So I really feel that it just trickles down. So when I felt like skipping my hard workout this morning, I also know that by achieving it and staying with it, that is going to impact other areas of my life. If I can get through a hard workout program for 14 or 30 days or whatever you might be doing, that will actually, bleed into other areas of my life. It can bleed into saving money and paying off debt, to launching new programs in my business, into up-leveling relationships. It's going to have a ripple effect because it creates this enhanced vibration, and it also creates respect for myself, trust in myself. And when I stay true to my commitments to myself, everything rises. And when we rise, help elevate the people around us. So that's our Rhythm Radio for today. And thanks for listening. And maybe next week we'll be able to be once again on Instagram and Facebook at the same time. So I was not able to record this today because I don't know, every time I turn around the Zoom changes. So listen here only, and have a beautiful day.